Hey, what's going on YouTube? Behind me is a Mark II Audi TTS coupe. This one is finished in Samoa orange. And today we are going to be taking you all the way around the car, showing you all the features, all the ins and outs, and basically just doing a full review. So stay tuned, hope you guys enjoy. The second generation Audi TT was produced from 2006 until 2014 and was sold in North America between model years 2008 to 2015. This particular example is a final year 2015. There were several different variants of the Audi TT, starting with the 2.0 turbo with 200 horsepower and 207 foot-pounds of torque. That was only sold between 2008 and 2010. Was available in front-wheel drive from 08 to 09, and starting in 2010, all second-generation Audi TTs were quattro all-wheel drive. In 2011, the engine in the base model was updated to make 211 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque. Then in 2009, Audi came out with this, the TTS, and it still has the 2.0 turbo, but now makes 265 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, same as the updated engine in the later TT. There was also a 3.2 liter naturally aspirated VR6 engine, only sold between 2008 and 2009 years. That is the only one other than the TTRS that you could equip with a 6-speed manual. All other TTs from this generation were 6-speed S-tronic automatic only. Then there was that TTRS with a 2.5 liter 5-cylinder, making 340 to 360 horsepower depending which version. But again, this is the middle of the range model, the TTS. Like I said, 265 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, and kept the same engine between 2009 and 2015. Taking a look at that engine, you can see it here, that we have the inline 4-cylinder turbocharged 2.0 liter EA113, or second generation of turbocharged 4-cylinder from Volkswagen Audi. This engine is direct injected. However, it is still belt driven like the prior generation. The successor to this engine, the EA888, started production for the 2008 and a half model year here in the States, but this car actually retained the EA113 all the way through to 2015, and it is the last car to utilize this engine. This is basically identical to what you would find in a Mark VI Golf R, with slightly more power. But again, unlike that car, the TTS was automatic only and the Golf R was manual only. Now taking a look around this vehicle, starting at the front end, you can see that we have our TTS exclusive grille, which is chrome finished. There is also a black edition of this car that would have all these silver bits you see, just matte black. We do have our bi-xenon projector beam headlights with LED daytime running light strips. These were exclusive to the TTS at first, but then in model year 2011, when the second gen TT received its facelift, it became standard on all models. We also have halogen fog lights down there, more aggressive front bumper on the TTS or S-line cars. We also do have the silver mirror caps, which is an exclusive hallmark of Audi S and RS models. These are just plastic caps made to look like aluminum. The only thing not standard on this particular car is going to be the wheels and tires, as well as the brakes. These wheels come from a Mark III Audi TT RS, so the generation after this. These are 20-inch wheels. This car comes standard with 19-inch wheels. Here are the wheels for the Silver Edition cars. And here are the ones for the Black Edition cars. You can also see we have drill and slotted rotors, both on front and rear. And this is something that even on TTRSs only have drilled and slotted rotors on the front. And the TTS would not have them at all. Coming around to the back, you can see we have our shark fin antenna. This panel here is actually a retractable spoiler, which comes up at speed around 75 miles an hour or 120 kilometers per hour and retracts back down once you go under a certain speed. Make sure to include some clips of that in action. The taillights are not LED at all. They do have a pretty cool look to them when they're on. The only LEDs back here are going to be the center stoplight and the license plate lamps. Okay, we have our Audi and TTS badging. No Quattro badge on here because all TTSs are Quattro. And then finally we do have quad exhaust tips, which again is a hallmark of Audi S models. The RS would just have two giant exhaust exits. This model is also equipped with rear parking sensors, but it should be noted there is no option for a backup camera in any Mark II Audi TTs. Passenger side, we do have our aluminum fuel filler door. As you can see, the interior of this car is also orange and black, as were many interiors on Samoa orange and solar orange TTs. Solar orange was a little bit more of a vibrant orange and not a metallic finish. That one was sold for model years 09 to 2012 and I believe only on TTSs. And then Samoa orange replaced it and was sold for 2013 through 15, and you could get it on all models of the TT, including the TTRS for 2013, which I believe there are only 2 of in existence. This is the rarest color, at least in the North American market. Only 60 total examples were produced for the US and Canada. So coming back inside, you can see we have our nice sports seats with the TTS logo embossed on the seat back. This is a 2+2 coupe, so you can see we have the 2 front seats and 2 small back seats, which are also orange and black, so no expenses spared back there. Moving to our dash, we do have a flat bottom steering wheel, which is nice for taller drivers to help fit their knees under. And then we do have a lot of circular designs, which goes back to the first generation Audi TT. Obviously the steering wheel, center pad, the vents, which you have 5 of, so 3 in the center. The gauges, transmission selector, and obviously a lot of use of aluminum in here as well. Now, if this was a Black Edition car, this center portion, as well as these grab handles, would be finished in piano black. We have our stainless steel pedals. Now jumping into the driver's seat, you can see we have our large tachometer and speedometer, as well as a coolant temperature and fuel gauge. We have our center driver information display with 2 different trip computers, various functions available within there. Because this is a direct shift gearbox, we do have our paddle shifters up and down on the steering wheel, as well as volume controls, voice control, skip or rewind, and mode. Now this car does have Bluetooth, but it is only for phone. If you are trying to play music, you're not going to be able to. You will need an aftermarket accessory to be able to do that. Again, this car was going into production all the way back in 2006, and most of the technology didn't really change throughout the production run. For example, there is no push to start available in this car. You have still a manual handbrake rather than an electronic brake. And this goes for the TT and the R8, both of which were sold from 2008 to 2015. Both of them are the last Audis, at least, to still have some of these older features. The climate controls are taken straight out of the Audi R8. Very simple, 3 dials setup here. Have heated seats as well. You have a center ashtray and 12-volt port. Down here are your buttons for your sport mode. Let's see if we turn that on. This only controls your suspension and steering. So this car does have adjustable magnetic ride shock absorbers, and pressing this button will put them in the firmer setting, as well as tighten up your electric power steering. Traction control off, hazards, and that is for the retractable spoiler, which I talked about. You can see it pop up and down here. And then our gear shifter, you can see, to put it into manual mode, you just go into drive and then over to the right, and you can go up or down. But the same thing can be achieved with paddle shifters, whether you're in manual mode or not. There's also a sport mode for the transmission, which just holds the revs longer. Now this car also does not get any of the Audi MMI features, which were introduced all the way back in 2003 with the second generation A8. This is the last car, along with the R8, not to include those features. So you just have your basic radio navigation system. It does not incorporate any climate control or other vehicle functions. Moving over to the passenger side, we have our glove box, which contains the owner's manual and documentation, as well as our Audi music interface. And here is where you can plug in your connector for an iPod or other device that would have been used back in the day. It's a proprietary connector, so you would need different adapters to be able to use the devices you want. You do have some pen storage in there as well. This car is equipped with the Bose sound system, which is a 12-speaker system. There are 7 tweeters, 4 woofers, and 1 subwoofer. This is an upgrade to the standard sound system, which has 9 speakers. We also have an auto-dimming mirror. We have our map lights. There's no dome light in this car. This just sets it for when you open the doors to have the lights come on. HomeLink garage door openers, visors with mirrors and lights. Cup holders, which 2 are the same size. This one obviously is shallower than this one. And then you have a small one in the center. Obviously you can't use all 3 at the same time, but you could definitely have a mug in there. Another 12-volt outlet and a rear storage tray. Over on the driver's door, we have the window switches for both left and right, power mirror controls, which are also heated, releases for the fuel and cargo area, and then your lock and unlock buttons on both sides, window switch on this side, large door pockets on both sides, and a small storage net on the passenger side. The rear seat is very basic. You do have storage compartment over here. Looks like there's also a cutout for what looks to be a first aid sticker, so possibly you could have gotten a first aid kit in there. There's no storage pocket on the other side because that is where the amplifier for the sound system is located. Seat belts, these pop up and retract when you need them. Obviously the rear seats fold down, which I'll show you in a moment. So finally taking a look in the cargo area. This is a hatchback, so you do get quite a bit of space. And you have your shelf here, which is a 2-piece shelf in this car. Comes out pretty easily, both the top and bottom portions. Like I mentioned, the rear seats fold down, just like so. Gives you even more space. You have a light back here, and then under the floor is your battery. There is no spare tire, even though there's kind of the shape for it here, but no Mark II Audi TTs come with a spare. You have your tools, lug wrench, combination wrench, screwdriver, also combination, your lug peg for installing the wheels, and this is for pulling off the lug nut caps if you have them. Some of the wheels that came on this car did have those caps. Back, you have your Sirius XM receiver, and even though there is no spare, you still get a jack as well as a kit with air compressor that plugs into your cigarette lighter, and some sealant for a flat tire, and your tow hook finally. So that is going to conclude this review of the Mark II Audi TTS. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you want to see more car reviews by subscribing and commenting down below.